Okay, welcome everyone. Today's topic is tactics and hacks, real estate hot markets. And we have the pleasure to have Frank Montro, the King of the South, with us tonight. If there's somebody who knows the markets, real estate, he's been in real estate for over 30 years, is Frank Montro. So Frank, thank you for joining us today. We greatly appreciate your presence tonight. So the show is all yours.
Okay, great. Well, first of all, I want to assure everybody that this is not the end of the world. My pastor, I had a pastor that I grew up in Connecticut, and he had a lot of wise sayings, like common sense is uncommon. He said, if you're looking for the perfect church, don't go there because you'll ruin it. So he had a lot of cool, fun expressions. But he also said there's only one thing that is the end of the world, and that is the end of the world. So this is not the end of the world. And I know there's some people out there and some colleagues of mine as well that are claiming that this is going to be a depression. And I would argue that that is way off. And the people that I hear that say that haven't been through what I've been through. Keep in mind, I've been in the business 37 years, and I've been through, I guess I mentioned earlier, 5 major issues, 5 major shifts, along with multiple micro shifts. So let me say this much. The common denominator, and we'll discuss this today, the common denominator with every shift is there's a trimming of the excess. There's a trimming of the waste. There is the average and low producing people get laid off permanently. The high producing people, it's almost like it's a more secure environment for them. So we're going to start digging into more of that. But keep in mind, guys, the one overriding denominator that I've seen over the 5 major shifts is that people realize they look at their business models and they get rid of stuff that's not working or that's low producing, and they become more productive. And the people that are non-producing or low producing either go to unemployment for a while or they find another job eventually. So the one thing that separates me from the average person is I don't doom and gloom stuff. I don't even see, I don't get afraid when I see a major economy shift like this, because I look for one thing. Every morning when I wake up, I ask myself, where is the opportunity? So if the market is humming, there's certain opportunities. If the market is crashing, there's certain opportunities. Keep in mind, there's more millionaires. They're made during these type of periods than there are when the market is strong. So what I want to encourage everybody today to be of good cheer, to be happy, to be excited, and start looking for opportunities. Shift your mindset so that you can make it through this in one piece. There's so many people that are, that I've seen so many articles about drinking escalating, about more couples having fights and not getting along. There's a certain thing about getting cooped up that people aren't accustomed to. So there's those elements going on. But I'm telling you right now, if you want to make it through this and you want to be successful and productive, like I have been, I've been in 2008, I closed 354 transactions when the market crashed and burned, and it was directly related to real estate, because, and I attributed primarily to my mindset, which is I'm just looking for new opportunities, and then I just shift and I go there and I adapt. So there's 2 things with mindset. I can speak for hours on mindset. I want to cover 2 major issues. If you get these things today, this is your foundation, guys. Is number 1, you know, is you need to be able to train your mind to see opportunities and act on them and adapt to them and create your business model through adaptation around these opportunities, because they will constantly change. I've seen so many people lose their business, lose their house, personal residence, lose their family, because they had one way and they did it and it was successful during a specific market. And when the market shifted, they didn't shift with it and they didn't adapt with it and they didn't see the new opportunities. And so that's another lesson learned. If you want like longevity, if you're just starting out in real estate or you're planning on being around here for a long time, or any business, I don't care what business you're in, this is the gold standard in mindset, is looking for opportunities and adapting, period. If you don't have that mindset, you're going to be in for a rough road and you will not be maximizing your talents. So write that down, guys. Changes. Boy, you know, wow, right? This is a crazy market, right? Because what's going on? This is a market that's influenced by, but nothing that has to do with real estate. So everybody's wondering, wow, you know, is the market going to take? Our value is going to crash? I'm getting there, guys. Hang on. So things that are definitely happening right now. Hard money lenders are pausing, right? So many of you have your lenders in the middle of transactions tell you, hey, we're not going to be able to close this deal now because we're going and sitting on the bench and we're going to wait to see what happens. And you know, and we'll come back, but right now we're not going to lend this money. We're not going to cut a check to you. Now, fortunately, I knew the second I saw this pandemic hitting the streets, I knew exactly what was going on. So I called around. I found out which lenders are lending, and there are lenders that are still out there. I started dialing up people I know that have deep pockets. I've got private money lenders, guys that will lend to people that are associated with me, that work with me. They will lend to you. So, you know, if you want to talk about that, feel free to reach out to me. Retail lending, look what happened to retail lending. All of a sudden, you know, a lot of lenders were at 620 for FHA, minimum FICO score, and 56.9 back-end DTI ratio. And then you saw it tick up, you know, every couple of days. Oh, now it's 640, now it's 660. Now some banks are at 700. Chase is at 700 and 20% down. And some of these banks are at 660 or 700 with a 43 DTI. So they've gone from 56.9 down to 43. So your client's purchasing power has diminished overnight. Guess what? That means nothing to me, because what I know is I know that there's opportunities out there. And I know that there's banks out there that are still lending at their same rates. So what happens is you get an average bank out there, a mortgage company, and they're originators. They make their money by originating a loan, and they package it up and they ship it off to a servicer, to Mr. Cooper, to Chase, to Wells, US Bank, et cetera, the guys that service the loans. Now, they're completely at the mercy of the guys that service the loans. So if the servicers say, hey, guess what, ABC Mortgage Company, we're changing our philosophy, our rates today. We're no longer at 620, we're at 660. So let's say, and so I'm going to closing that day. Nobody told me anything about it. I'm sitting at the closing, and then as an agent, and I get a call, and they tell me, hey, hey, Frank Montro from Keller Williams, you no longer are able to close this transaction because we can't fund it, because our servicer no longer funds that rate or that back-end ratio. Fortunately, I deal with banks that sell to the government, that sell to Fannie, Freddie, and Ginnie. And I just got into the habit of doing that because they don't change. Governments don't change. I mean, if it goes into depression, yeah, I guess it can, you know, the government can make some adjustments. But under normal big shifts like this, they don't make any adjustments. So I've got lenders that are still closing deals. with 620 FICO scores and with the 56.9 back-end ratios. If you need to know more about that, feel free to call me. I'll be more than happy to share resources with you. So there is resources out there. There are resources that haven't changed. The problem is a lot of agents have decided to take a break, that are sidelined. And this is actually where the money is made as an agent. And I encourage agents today. This is where the opportunity is for agents. First of all, there's a ton of buyers out there, and they're looking for inventory. So now, now more than ever, you want to be working with buyers, and you want to be chasing and figuring out ways to find properties off market, or looking at temporary off the market properties, looking at canceled properties, approaching the agents, approaching the sellers, finding out, are they still interested in selling? There are still, look, I get we're putting properties on the market. I'm getting anywhere from 3 to 5 offers on every property. It's freaking insane out there. So it's a different type of market. We'll get more into that, how the market is affecting this. But keep in mind, guys, there's still a lot of buyers out there. And if you can link them in with the right financing, you're going to close deals. So we put together 38 transactions in the last 30 days. What does that tell you? And I'm not the only guy out there that's hustling. It's now is the time when all these buyers agents, sellers agents are walking off the field, sitting on a bench, waiting for this to come to end. This is the time you guys can make hay, double down, work extra hard, and put these deals together. It's being done. Okay, there's things now that that have changed as well too. So the non-QM loans have paused. So the 1 day out of foreclosure, 1 day out of bankruptcy, ITIN loans, a lot of that stuff is on pause. Some jumbo loans are on pause. There are some banks that are still doing jumbos, or they do first and seconds. So if you have a buyer that qualifies in that group, in a non-QM loan, don't throw them to the curb. You need to be on your CRM, nurturing them, waiting for these loans to get back in the game, because everything will come back. I've seen this over and over again. This is not the end of the world. Stuff, everything cycles up, and then it cycles down, and then once money realizes what the risk is, and they can identify the risk, then they'll get a lot more aggressive. But you have to give them you have to keep in touch with these buyers, because they're going to come back. These buyers that are losing their jobs right now, that are unemployed, they're going to come back. So stay in touch with agents. I encourage you, stay in touch with your buyers. Have a healthy connection with them through your CRM. Some other cool changes going on now. It's about time. Illinois, remote online closings. So finally, we don't have to go to every closing. The buyer doesn't have to go to every closing. They can do it outside of the title company. They can do it in their house. They can do it in their car. So there's a lot more interesting ways to close deals. And most of the states are doing this now. It's about time that we start heading in this direction. And some more changes that you were seeing are appraisals. Conventionally, you're seeing the drive-by appraisals now, right? So what happens with, here's the kicker with drive-by appraisals, and the smart appraisers know what to do. How can you determine whether utilities work or whether you have a structural foundation issue? So what appraisers are doing is they're FaceTiming the sellers, and they're having the sellers walk through their house, turn on the heat, let me see the register, turn the water on. We're under water every place. Let's look under the sink. Take your camera under the sink. Cover the basement. Make sure there's no foundation structural issues. So that's one of the drawbacks of the drive-bys. If you have a buyer's, if you're a buyer's agent, you want to make sure that you talk to the appraiser, and you want to make sure that the appraiser if he's going to do a drive-by, he needs to FaceTime these with these sellers, so he can at least get some reassurance that the stuff's working out. The last thing you want to do is show up to close, you know, have the deal closed, get your paycheck, and then the buyer calls you and says, "Hey, man, we don't have any heat in the house. You know, why did you sell me a lemon?" You know, when is the market to come back? You know, it looks like either June 1st or July 1st. So if that being the case, that means that we have to figure out different ways of doing business, right? And so what does that mean? We need to figure out how to go virtual. So what a lot of real estate agents are doing virtual showings, are doing virtual pre-showings, you know, are doing live virtual open houses, social media. I mean, there's people that I knew that, you know, that wouldn't get on Facebook if I paid them $100. And now it's like everybody's on Facebook. You know, more and more people on Instagram. The hottest thing, listen sellers, listen buyers, agents, the hottest way to get buyers right now is Instagram ads. Facebook ads too, only because there's so many people that aren't running Facebook ads now that the conversion rates are much, much higher. That'll change once the market comes back. But Instagram ads, they are crazy, man. We ran the other day, we ran an ad. We got 17 buyers. So they're all getting pre-approved right now. It's insane out there. So if you set up an Instagram business account and start running ads, and trust me, you'll be successful with that. It's one of the hottest things going on here. Another thing, what are we doing right now? We're on Zoom. Well, I should have bought stock in Zoom a long time ago, right? I mean, I'm on Zoom twice a day. I'm with my team, and then with someone else. I'm on Zoom. You know, this is a way where it's got a little personal touch to it because you can see my face, I can see your face, unless you shut it off. And I see a few you have, but I'm gonna hunt you guys down, and so I can see what you guys look like. But seriously though, you know, you can bring some of that personal touch back with Zoom, or some of these other programs, FaceTime. There's things you can do to bring some of the personal touch back, because this is still a business. It's not just numbers. It's not just technical. This is still, oops, sorry about that, guys. This is still a people business. So you still have to reach out. You still have to connect with people. A face and a voice can't be beat. So this, you know, again, this is something that you'll see. That this is going to stick. This is a change that is going to happen and going to stay with us forever. There are going to be more and more of these meetings. Some of the things to be afraid of is the biggest thing right now is unemployment. And that's going to be a temporary thing. So, you know, who knows? I've seen stuff where it says, you know, it's going to settle anywhere from 15 to 30%. So wherever it is, it's going to be temporary, and it's going to quickly dissipate. So yes, will unemployment affect our business? Not as much as it should, because there's so many buyers out there right now. However, I don't really see it affecting it at all, because what's going to happen is when this thing comes back, there's going to be a pent-up demand of all this business coming up. So that delay of the market where it should be, you know, it should be bad. The numbers should be low. That pent-up demand coming in is going to make up for that. So I don't, you know, I don't see that as being a big issue. Some of the other interesting things are landlords, right? So you've got, it looks like, you know, guys that friends of mine that have Section 8 tenants, they were made fun of for years. Now looks like they're the smart ones, right? It's the people that have the tenants that aren't Section 8. They're grabbing the seat of their pants, and the shift hasn't happened quite yet. Everybody that I've talked to, that's a big landlord or a property manager, they're saying that the shift is coming this month. The month of May is when people are are contacting their landlords saying, hey, I'm going to need to work something out here. Can we do some kind of payment plan? But I'm going to have a problem. So the month of April was strong for landlords. So the faster we get out of this, the better it's going to be for landlords. And keep in mind too, I mean, there's a lot of weird things. More, you know, so more people are home, right? More people are going to be using water. So can you imagine what the water bill is for these landlords now? So I mean, if you're a landlord now in the city of Chicago, a lot of them that I talk to, their water bill, because usage is increased dramatically, and of course the city of Chicago, bless their heart, have raised the rates, right? And so now, you know, a lot of these guys are paying double what they would normally pay. So when you have a tight bottom line with your numbers, or you're maxing out with your numbers, you can't afford to have changes like this. You can't afford to have a huge disruption with your rents or a huge increase in your costs. You're going to see a lot of foreclosures, you know, and so one thing overall in the market is there's going to be foreclosures in the commercial end and in the retail end. So that's good for us because we're going to have, in a sense, I mean, I hate to say that, but you know, there's going to be a lot more flips and a lot more buy holes, and there's going to be a lot more the share of sale. So you know, when we talked about opportunities and adapting, share of sales, auction sites are going to increase. You know, and that's going to take a while. So in about 6 months, you're going to see those numbers spike, and they'll spike for a while. People are, you know, the biggest thing that I hear from sellers that are flippers are the prices going to nosedive? Am I going to lose my investment? Am I going to go out of business? The answer is absolutely not. Now, if an area is overpriced, then yes, that will make an adjustment. But if your price points are so high that you price yourself out of the medium income in the area, well, then that needs to be adjusted. But that happens all the time. So, you know, the real estate, you know, doesn't go like this forever, doesn't go like this forever, doesn't go like this forever. Real estate pricing is always up and down. And the biggest, you know, thing that causes a shift in price points downward is when banks allow prices to go up so high that the sellers are pricing themselves out of the buyer's ability to purchase. So then there's a reduction that needs to take place. And there are certain places up on the north side that you will see that we'll see some, you know, some substantial reductions. And they need to get to where they need to be. The one thing about the South Side is the South Side is still affordable. A lot of banks have not allowed the free market to reign on the South Side. So consequently, you're not seeing, you know, incredibly high prices. You're not seeing price points outside of the medium income on the South Side. I mean, there's a few areas that you may see adjustments. Hyde Park, Beverly, Woodlawn, East Woodlawn is gotten crazy. I mean, I've seen stuff closing for $700,000 over there. So that'll probably come down back into the fives. That's a little bit aggressive for the income base over there. Overall, though, what is different about this market than other markets is, number one, is property is still affordable, especially on the South Side. And number two is the mortgage payments are similar in many areas to what you would pay for rents. When you have those two factors going in a particular area, I don't want to say it bulletproofs, but it certainly guarantees that there's not going to be massive price reductions. And I'm basing this on 37 years of experience and what I've seen happen in the market. And this market shift is not because prices are overpriced. 2008, everything was way overpriced. So that's why everything went way down. And here you don't have price adjustments. What you will see is you will see some panic selling. Some people are going to get afraid. and they're going to, and those are so as an investor, that's what you want to look for. So you want to, you want to make sure you get your money. So you need to find out who's lending right now. B, you want to watch for panic sellers. You want to look for opportunities for buys, and they're out there. They're still out there now. And I haven't seen any panic selling but I know that there's always a small faction of people that go crazy in this. You're going to see adjustments in the commercial end. So if you're in the commercial space right now, if you want to get into it, this would be a good time. And here's what's happening is a lot of people I know that don't have businesses and have big commercial office spaces are saying, wow, I realize I've got way too much space. I realize that some of my staff are just as productive at home as they are in the office now. I don't need them to be in this office. I can cut down my office space. You know, heck, I can cut down my staff. You know, I have 3 people. I've got 5 people here. They're not productive. So those are things. Again, we're going to see a big shift in trimming of the waste, of trimming of the non-production. But know this: price points will remain stable, except for areas that need to come down. This will force those areas out. There's more buyers than there are sellers right now, and there's more, and payments are too similar to rents in most of these areas. Those areas are protected. Some of the things, another thing to be concerned about, besides unemployment, which will definitely, it may never come back to the low rates that we had, and we may not enjoy that, but it'll come down. So I'm not worried about the initial number. It's really meaningless to me because there's so many buyers out there anyways. The forbearance thing I'm a little more concerned about, and there is a solution for that. So the forbearance is not a deferment, and so a lot of people that don't need the forbearance that are taking it are going to be in trouble, because when their 4th payment comes, they're going to owe 4 payments, and there's a lot of banks that are not deferring those 4 payments. They're going to want them now, or they're going to start foreclosure. So that's going to be interesting to see what happens. And also these servicers, why these servicers are tightening up, because they're more concerned about this than they are about COVID. So what's going to happen is with this foolish forbearance thing that's out there, that's allowing, I've talked to people that are just taking advantage of it. Hey man, I don't want to, I want this money, man. I want to, pay your bills, and I recommend, if you talk to anybody, tell them to pay their bills, because all they're doing is they're going to contribute to a problem where these servicers are responsible for the first month, a missed month. So if you have millions of people nationwide missing, then that's going to be an even greater problem for lending. So I think what's going to happen is the government's going to have to come out and force these banks to do deferments, and then that's going to solve the problem. But there'll be a temporary shift right there. That's the bigger problem, guys, right there. Some of the small issues too now are a lot of these villages are closed down or shut down. They have limited services. So what I recommend you do is don't call, if you're having a problem getting through village, go there and knock on a door. A lot of these villages are still operating. They're not answering the phones. Some really interesting things. Hey, how about these old buildings with shared HVAC? You ever think about that? What if you live in an old building and that air in central air and heat is circulating around from everybody's apartment? I guarantee you that's going to be addressed down the road. That's going to have to be retrofitted. I was talking to a buddy of mine the other day, and he said, watch out for these micro units, in the West Loop and the River West. These are super small apartments in really hot areas where there's a lot of stuff to do. Now that everything's shut down, these people are going crazy in there, and those units are going to take a huge hit. There's going to be less of a demand for those units. So that's another thing to keep your eye on, to see if there's any kind of opportunity there. People moving to get out of there to grab them as buyers. The one thing that's cool, I think, out of this whole thing is that families are making a comeback. More and more time where people are spending with families. And you know what else is going to make a comeback? And you've heard it first here, ladies and gentlemen. Drive-in movie theaters, baby. So drive-in movie theaters will, hopefully will make a comeback. Better social distancing, right? So in conclusion, what are we looking for? We're looking for opportunities. There's going to be businesses that are going to shut down. Trader Joe's in Hyde Park just announced that they're closing the doors permanently. There's a space that somebody else is going to come in and rent. There's a business there that somebody can buy. There's going to be a ton of great employees. So if you're looking to expand your business, you're looking to hire up, now is the time you do that. Now, when people are getting, they know they're getting permanently laid off, now's the time when you start running ads, and now's the time when you look to hire quality people, because there'll be more quality people out there now than there is good times. Because when unemployment's low, then the better people are going to be to work. So keep another great opportunity out there, guys. Be ready in 6 months for short sales and foreclosures. Get ready to double down on that, because they're coming. How do you adopt in this environment? You double down. You do just the opposite of what most people are doing, which is go on the sidelines and check out. So you work hard and you look for opportunities every day, and you improve your virtual presence and your social media presence. Okay? I am killing the game right now, and you can too. If you follow this prescription, Dr. Frank Montro is in the house, baby. And I'm telling you right now, put a smile on your face, think positively, change your perspective, change your mindset, look for opportunities every day, adapt to those opportunities. Same game ain't working, baby. This is more virtual, more social media. Learn that stuff, become experts, run your ads, dominate, get busy, get productive, because it's being done. I'm not the only guy that's out there that's got a hustle on and that's being successful. I'm talking to a lot of people, and a lot of people are successful, but they're the ones that are not sitting on the bench. They're on the field. They're doing it, and they're adjusting it. So that's my story for this evening. Hugo, do you have any other things you want me to talk about, or questions, or?
This has been great, Frank. Are there any more specifics as to what people should be focusing on in terms of real estate markets, asset types,
Okay, so
and exit strategies?
Yeah, so if you're going to be, I think the lesson to learn right now is, with rentals, is don't be afraid of Section 8s. So don't be afraid. In fact, one of my buddies that does a lot of stuff on the South Side, Jared Cott, told me what CHA is doing now is, in the past, they would, they give you your voucher. So let's say, for argument's sake, it's $1,300, and say Jared, said, hey, I need to get $1,500. So, Mr. Renner, you need to pay me $200 a month. So, Section 8 would never cover that $200, but what they're doing now is they're covering that. So he says when he's going to renew with Section 8, they're actually rewriting and covering that. And they haven't done that in the past. They've been very stingy. So yeah, I would say for those of you who are afraid to go Section 8, understand how much more bulletproof it is in these times, because you're going to get that check no matter what. You're not, that check's not contingent upon employment. As far as like say flips, so a lot of people are afraid of flipping, and you should be afraid of flipping, because it is a very tough game. And I would be more than happy to help anybody if they want to get involved in it. A third of my clients are real estate agents, simply because they know how difficult it is, and they take advantage of my 37 years of experience. Flipping, you really want to be careful on and buy in areas and buy block by block. So some areas have, you can go into areas like Beverly, and they have, you know, they're, the further west you go, the more desirable it is. The further east you go, the less desirable it is. So you may be buying on a block that's not that saleable. And if you're pricing properties on West Beverly, thinking you're going to get that in East Beverly, that's not going to happen. I'm not saying that East Beverly is not saleable. It is extremely saleable. But what people are making mistakes, and you need to know, you know, more than ever, you need to know and buy right. The key is made in the buy. When you, no matter what, you know, no matter what you do, you can say with rentals, you can say it doesn't matter that much, because if you're holding on to your rentals, you go long term, and you pay it off, you know. So it doesn't matter if the market's up or down. Because your revenue is based on your rents at the time, and then when you get ready to sell, then that's when it really matters. So a lot of these guys that buy rentals will pay up for them because they're not as concerned for that. So rent, you know, my guys in a rent space right now are you know, everybody's looking in the better areas right now because they're concerned about the risk. So you have to be at the edge of your seat though, because when this market changes, it's going to come back with pent up demand. And so now is the time to look for the opportunities. And they're out there in every facet. Now, if you're talking about, you know, areas, I mean, I could talk, you know, Hugo, I can talk South Side, you know, where we're still buying. If you want to cover that, or
Sure, briefly, that'll be great.
yeah, okay. I just briefly. I mean, I still like like schools like HF. So you know, I'll still buy in Flossmoor and Homewood and Olympia Fields. We still like Berwyn and Bellwood and Maywood. You know, just to give you a hand, I got a list here in front of me. A handful of areas that are hotter than hot right now: Avalon Park, South Shore, Woodlawn is still hot. You just got to watch your numbers. Beverly, Pill Hill, Chatham, still hot. You know, another area that's underserved, that's kind of under, you know, under the radar is Riverdale. So we're buying stuff and flipping it for $1.25, selling it overnight. It's crazy. So that's just some of the area. There's a lot more areas. I'm just touching on a few areas that we're getting a tremendous amount of success with. So yeah, there's a, you know, the really the areas that are fringy are going to come back. I mean, they're just right now the buyers are more on pause in those fringier areas. But if you buy a property in the fringy area right now and you trick it up, you put a few more dollars in it, people are going to buy it anyways, because people are buying lifestyle, and you sell lifestyle. The lifestyle is where they're going to live inside the house. So a lot of people buy. That's how Bronzeville made a run. Bronzeville made a run when it wasn't that popular and didn't have all the amenities, although it was close to the lake. But there was a couple guys that got in there and pushed the envelope with over-the-top rehab, and they sold lifestyle, and that's how that market took off. What else do you go? Does anybody have a question, or go ahead? Sorry.
Yeah, we can open up questions for the audience. You can either unmute yourself or via the chat.
Did you have something that you want? I thought you were going to ask me another thing.
So as far as your opinion on wholesaling at this point, what would you say for investors who want to start doing wholesaling?
There's a ton. Okay, so there's a ton of investors looking for inventory right now. You want to connect yourself. There's a ton of pages on Facebook. You know, you can just start typing in Chicago real estate investing, Chicago rehab. You start liking the groups, and then start friending your people and look and see what groups that they're part of, and start getting on these groups, and you can get a ton of buyers and connections. And if you have a wholesale property, come see me. We'll buy them. If they make sense, we'll buy them. So we buy all over too. So the wholesale market's still extremely strong because the inventory count is so low, and there's so many cash buyers out there, and buyers that still do have lines of credit out there, that wholesaling is still a fantastic game right now. Great question. So you can use your deal vaults and chase pre-foreclosures, right? And join Deal Vault, or if you're part of Deal Vault, start chasing the pre-foreclosures. Start locking these things up. If you have a problem on values, call me and I'll help you. The problem with wholesalers is they don't know the game. They're clueless. They're clueless with ARVs. They're clueless with work. I mean, there's so many wholesale properties I get. They're not slightly off. They're way off. $40,000, $50,000 off. I'm like, God, how'd you get this number? How do you think that this frame house needs $25,000 in work? Where did you get that number from? Give me that contractor's name and number. I'll give them 100 deals next year. So, jeez. Yeah, what you really need to do as a wholesaler is you need to get paired up with somebody that knows what they're doing, and then you're going to make money. Because otherwise, a lot of these wholesalers come in and are like, yeah, baby, I see these checks online, on TV, baby. I'm going to make all this money. I get this cash money, and they don't know what they're doing, and they way overprice their ARV, and they way undervalue the cost of rehab, and they don't make any money, and that stuff gets old.
Yeah, great advice. So what would be your favorite lenders right now, Frank, that people should reach out to?
So I like Lending Home. I like Lincoln Way Bank and Barnett Capital right now are banks that are lending. There's others as well too. If you want to call me, we can have a further conversation on that. Be glad to help you out with that. But yeah, those are three off the top of my head that are actively lending. And the cool thing is, if you don't have experience and you walk in the door with me and say, hey, this is my realtor, you're classified differently. You're not a C class anymore. And your chances of getting a loan, a line of credit are much greater. They don't like, a lot of these, especially in these times, they don't like brand new people. But if I've talked to these guys and say, hey man, these guys are with me, so I'm the quarterback, and then that puts things in a different light, then rather than if somebody comes waltzing in the room, hey, I've never done a deal before, I don't know anything about ARVs or anything about rehab, but by golly, I want that money. Yeah, they're gonna say bye-bye. So yeah, that's going on right now.
Perfect. So I'm going to share your contact information, Frank. So Frank is a preferred real estate broker and only real estate broker in ChicagoDealVault. So I'm going to quickly demo how you get in touch with Frank. So when you log on to ChicagoDealVault, you click on Preferred Partners, and then you're going to go down to the category of Real Estate Broker. Frank, can you just double check that the information is accurate? The phone number, is that the one, the email, your AOL?
Yeah, so my phone number is 708-307-0777.
Right.
Again, that's 708-307-0777. My email is Montro F. So it's my last name, MONTROF, and at AOL.com.
Perfect. So we have that information accurate on the website.
You do.
Yep, perfect.
Yep.
Friends, are there any other questions?
There are some questions here. So hey, shout out to Rick about our moms. Appreciate that, brother. Eric, love my Section 8 tenants. Hey, you pick them right. you know, the regular tenants could be worse than Section 8 tenants. You know, you pick them right, brother, and so good for you. Stephen, we'll chat. You know, you got my number. Give me a holler. Calvin, Howard Lenders responded to buy hold scenarios. Yeah, it's, you know, that's a great question. You know, so you know, that burst system is going around, and that is definitely the refi part has definitely tightened up. So they want you to hold on to the property. I think the refi end of the burr is a lot of the places are forcing you to hold on to the property for 6 months before you refi it. So, you know, there's not a, yeah, there's really not much better than you can do than that, because that's pretty much the standard. So, you know, you just have to wait a little longer, unless you have another resource you can cash out. You have your own bank or something that can cash out. But there are a few banks out there that are working the burst system, and they're doing it successfully. Yeah, cool. What else? Anything else? See my buddy Nick Radakovich. Holy smokes! What's up, Nick?
Hey Frank, I have a question. Quick question.
Yes.
Do you prefer during this time buying a land lot and then constructing according to your own architect plan on? So buying a land lot is preferable?
I'm not sure if I understand. You said buying it in landlock? Buying land, you mean? Or?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, so, you know, here's the thing: new construction, a lot of new construction loans are on pause right now. So many of them are. Now, I do know a lot of guys that do new construction, and if you get, you know, a hot enough area, you know, and you've got the cash, then and you know, you've got a great deal to definitely take it down. There's a lot. The competition is down in new in land right now because there's less people that can do it. So if you get a really good deal, keep in mind this is a temporary deal. What we're seeing right here, this is going to rebound. So if you're able to grab something at a great price, now's the time to buy and not sit on the sidelines. What else?
Thank you.
Thanks. Anyone else? Hugo, anything else?
There's one question by Rick. Are the foreclosure expected to escalate?
Yes. Yeah. Foreclosures will escalate in the office building, and I think a lot. You know, there's a lot of people that are going to go into foreclosure because of the forbearance. There's people that are going to permanently lose their jobs that will go into foreclosure. So yes, but that will not be, you know, that will not. We won't see that for at least 6 months. So you know, 6 months to a year. But yeah, that's something that you need to be looking for as a future. You know, something in the immediate future. 6 months to a year, you'll see those numbers spike.
Perfect. There's another question by Stefan.
Okay, hold on a second. Get to the. Oops.
Talking about the marketing strategy, when you do your marketing in Instagram ads, are you advertising yourself as an agent or a specific property that you're selling?
So usually what we do is, and I'm talking about on our retail properties. So it's you know, everything is value. So when you're looking at what does a buyer want to see? They want to see a lifestyle they've never afforded before, and that's best translated through pictures, and much more so than video. So one thing that's and I've taken a lot of classes on this. So there's two things. You're going to talk about programs with money saving ideas like grant programs, free credit repair. Those are things that are attractive to people, and also pictures of lifestyle where, you know, women are hanging out in the kitchens with their parties. Guys want to see, you know, cool basement pictures, man caves. So you want to be able to, and pictures just do a more efficient job. I don't, why, I'm not sure. They just, you know, it's just what all the experts are saying. You know, don't focus on videos, focus on pictures. But get yourself an Instagram business account and start, you know, and start posting and boosting those pictures and everything that relates to. I've always been a value guy. All my life, I've always thought I need to help other people get what they want. So what's valuable to them, and that's how I run my my business, Stephen.
Great, thank you. Another question is, how do you find good contractors?
Well, I mean, that is, yeah, that's the $64 million question.
Yeah, right.
You know, fortunately, I've been in the game for 37 years. I have a lot of people approaching me, and so we vet them out. And so I will say this. You know, there are a lot in the internet. There's a lot on Facebook. There's a group called a Renovation Room, and they, you know, and they've had some bad ones in there, but they get called out. But you know, the main thing that I would say is when somebody comes to me and says I'm the best thing since sliced bread, I say I don't. That's great that you think that you tell me that. Now, if you're that good, then you should have 3 people that I can call right now, and I'll pick my phone up and I'll say, okay, give me a number to dial. I want to talk to them right now. Oh, you don't have anybody? That's interesting. Now you said you've been in business for 10 years. You can't give me 3 people. You're the best thing in the world. You can't give me 3 people that I can talk to right now. So I call them out. So you know, I need to see their insurance. You know, I need to see their work. I need to, you know, and would be even more helpful if I could see their financials, because a lot of these contractors, even the good ones, and this is the dangerous part with the good ones, they get started and then they want to take more and more on, but they don't know how to scale up their business. So they end up just financially crushing themselves. They basically do a Trojan horse. They just wipe out their business from the inside out. So, but I would go online to like Facebook groups, hang in there, ask questions, find people. You know, I mean, I have, you know, for my investors and anybody who wants to be an investor and work with me, I mean, we have our own crews. So we don't, we just supply those to our people and exclusively to our investors. They're so hard to find that I just can't loan them out. Yeah, you know, that's a fantastic question because that is a big issue too. That's the second, you know, there's 3 parts to the equation: the buying right, rehabbing right, and then reselling right. You know, they're all important. But if you don't buy right, it doesn't matter. After that, you're done as far as making money. What else was there?
There's another question. When you talk about that there's a ton of buyers out there, are you referring to retail buyers or investors?
Actually, both. I have a lot of everything, you know. So I look for when it comes to, you know, when people come to me and they say, well, you know, what does it take to be an investor? And I said, well, the most to get, you know, on the A squad, you have to make decisions quickly. You have to look at properties quickly. You have to make decisions quickly, and you have to how can I put this? Not be greedy, you know, be smart. Don't try to cut corners. Don't try to rip off people. Treat people fairly, but move efficiently. What happens is a lot of times when good properties come out, I need to get a buyer on them same day. I need to get a contract in same day to lock them up, because otherwise they're going to be gone. Some banks, if they go online, they're going to want to have some seasoning. So they may say, hey, let it sit for 3 days, let it sit for 7 days, let it sit for 2 weeks. You know, you know, it is what it is. So every situation is different, but you have to be smart, and you have to have good ethics. And if you have that, you know, we can have a conversation for sure. I've got a lot of tools, I've got a lot of connections, but you know, one thing I don't have a tolerance for is people with low integrity, and people that don't know how to make decisions quickly. So that doesn't work in my world.
Perfect. So friends, please make sure that you connect with Frank. He's by far the best. He's made us quite a lot of money. So please make sure that you work with the best. And Frank Montro is the king of the South. So please make sure that you connect with him. He'll be able to help you answer any questions. He's got 37 years of experience. So please do reach out to him, leverage from his experience that, you know, he's available to all of us. So thank you very much.
Let me just add one other thing in, is that
yes.
I don't only know I do the South Side. I mean, that's primarily what I did for many years. So,
Yes.
I mean, my partner and I know the South Side better than anybody. You know,
Right.
a lot of people rely on us. A lot of realtors say, hey, I'm just going to give you, it's on the South Side, I'm just going to give you the listing, just do your thing and make me money. And now we do also the North Side and surrounding collar communities as well too. So we're not limited to that. I just got, you know, back in like 2001, somebody started calling me the king of the South Side, and it stuck. And so I get introduced that way, which is fine. I mean, because I am the king of the South Side, baby. But seriously though, too, we do spread out. I have, you know, I've hired a lot of agents. I've got a total now. There's a total of 17 of us all together, and I've got a couple agents that live in Albany Park and Evanston. So we're up, you know, we're all over the place. So yeah,
Perfect.
feel free to give me a call. Be more than happy to help you out. And thanks for the opportunity, Hugo. I hope I brought some value. More importantly, I hope I calmed your fears down, and I hope I helped you change your perception, and gave you a different way to think about the economy, whether it's good or bad. It doesn't matter whether it's good or bad. It matters where is the opportunity at? Where is, you know, you take it back to the days of the hunters, you know, and so let's say I'm hunting buffalo. I kill that herd, then that would be a shift in my economy then, because all the herd, now I have to go, it may take me 3, 4, 5 months to find another herd, and then we're back in business. But you know, it's the same thing. It's, you know, when I kill off that herd, then I'm looking for another herd. So I'm looking for a new opportunity. That's the way I think. You know, I want everybody here to adapt that philosophy. That'll make a difference. So appreciate you you having me here tonight. If anybody needs to reach out to me or has a question, feel free to call me or text me on my cell phone, 708-307-0777. Thank you, everybody.
Great. Thank you very much, Frank. Stay well. I appreciate
Roger that.
it.
Yeah, and guys, you can always text me if you got a quick question too. So,
Guys, that's just
not
incredible.
a problem.
Thank you very much, Frank.
Thanks, guys. Take care.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Frank.
Thank
Bye.
you.
Okay, friends. So I just want to make sure that you RSVP for our one-time unique bootcamp that we have scheduled for May 31st, Sunday. I'm gonna send everyone the meetup. We're gonna take only 100 RSVPs, okay? We're gonna be covering everything from wholesaling, fix and flip, and rentals. This is the first time that we run this event. I'm just gonna give you a snapshot of what you're gonna be able to learn on that day. So please make sure that you RSVP. So I will just quickly go over, you know, wholesaling. We're going to be talking about marketing strategies, cold calling, creating your seller lists, understanding and being able to get an accurate ARV analysis, successful closing practices. We're going to be talking about virtual wholesaling. Also, today we're going to give you 30 days free for DealVault if you do not have access to the system. And then we're going to be focusing a big chunk of that webinar on funding, okay? Applied towards this crisis, we're going to share a list of all the available lenders that are actually open lending for flips, for rentals. So we're going to be bringing some Harmony lenders, conventional lenders, and most importantly, we're going to be covering rentals. We're going to give you the secret to build $1 million portfolio so that you start taking advantage of the passive income, leveraging from other people's money, other people's time. Obviously, we're going to cover hot markets, where to invest, where the top flipping and rental markets are, and make sure that you RSVP for these webinars. So I just sent everyone the link. And then for those of you who still don't have access to ChicagoDealVault, I'm going to send you the link for you to sign up for free for the next 30 days, okay? If you already have access to DealVault, thank you everyone for joining tonight. I'm going to stay on the line for the next 5 minutes just to help make sure that everyone does have access to DealVault for free for the next 30 days so that you have access to great off-market deals, contracts, cash buyers, and preferred partners, okay? So this is the link that you're going to need to register, and then under the package, make sure that you select package, select special Chicago Deal Vault, and then for the promo code Frank, that's the promo code. It could be lowercase, uppercase, it doesn't matter. Frank. So that's the promo code. You'll get Deal Vault for free for the next 30 days. Okay. And then after that, if you decide to stay, it's going to be $140 per month. Okay. If you decide to stay, or $120 per month if you decide to do the yearly subscription. Okay, Realtor, great question. How does this differ from Realtor.com? So Realtor.com pretty much mimics the MLS. Realtor has a feed, live feed to the MLS. Chicago Deal Vault, you're going to have access to the MLS, plus you're going to have access to off-market properties. So Frank was mentioning pre-foreclosures, which is a great lead pipe, probates, upcoming auctions, banked-on properties or REOs, vacant properties, wholesale deals that we have active, 46, and many more resources, among them private lenders. We give you over 6,000 cash buyers, over 60,000 cash buyers, training, unlimited training, area reports, so we help you identify hot flipping and rental markets in A, B, C areas. Unlimited training. So there's a big difference between Realtors.com and Chicago Deal Vault, okay? And then we're local. We're going to make resources available to you. As we mentioned earlier, we have over 80 preferred partners. So today we have the privilege to have Frank Montro with us tonight, but we have over 80 preferred partners. So make sure that you take advantage of this special offer tonight. So I send you the link, the promo code, select special Chicago Deal Vault for the package for you to get your 30 days free. If you decide to stay, it will be $140, the promotional rate. Retail is $190, but we're going to lock you in at the $140, and there's no commitment. You can cancel anytime, okay? And please do sign up for the May bootcamp. We're going to be covering everything from wholesaling, fix and flip, and buy and hold, how you can build $1 million empire. Okay, so make sure that you sign up for it, RSVP, and if you don't have access to Deal Vault, we'll give it to you for free for the next 30 days.